ace of hearts on the turn, so Eric in awful shape. And he's gonna get it! He gets it! And we move on. Action going to James Carroll. We start to throw away some hands. Maria also out. Chad, though, with Queen 10 of hearts. Gaining confidence at this final table. He has raised it to 550. And Eric, this time with Ace Queen again.
Chad is under 30 blinds, so if Eric 3-bets here, it needs to be with the intention of calling a shove, and he has 3-bet, but he's chosen a really weird small size that will price Chad into calling with any hand that he opened with. So I like Eric's 3-bet, but I do think it needs to be for bigger.
It is not. Let's see the flop. It's a great flop for Eric. Look at this queen. They both have queens.
Oh, Gin.
Dominating him now. Thing of beauty. They go check, check.
Great check by Chad there.
7 on the turn changes nothing. Eric will make a bet. He's looking good. He's betting $500,000.
Betting small here. He has an opportunity to get Chad's stack in the middle if he bets $1.5 million and then shoves the river, but instead he bets 1/6 pot on the turn.
He thinks that Chad has a queen.
And even that is an awkward river as it completes the turn flush draw and will make
950?
getting called by a queen harder for Eric. So he bets 950,000, and now Chad, getting 4-1, has a very difficult decision. It's hard to come up with many bluffs for Eric.
Action clock is ticking down. It's got to make a decision or throw a button in there for more time. That's what he's going to do. He needs more time.
What a gross spot for Chad. Tell yourself, well, if my opponent's bluffing on the turn, it's probably with ace-king or ace-jack. Then the ace hits and it's like, yeah, and the ace beats me, the spades beat me.
This whole time. This whole time, that's it. Well,
Very impressive.
All of our short stacks have really chipped up here. When we started tonight, James and Maria were running away with this final table, and now not much separation between the two of them and the other four.
All right, James Carroll hoping to turn things around again, but he's going to raise with this one. And right behind him, Maria with a beautiful ace-queen of diamonds.
And so far, Maria has taken a passive approach against James. And she continues that trend here by just calling with ace-queen suited in the small blind. Again, I like her play here. James, one of the only stacks that could bust Maria. I don't think you really want to 3-bet and then call off 50 blinds with ace-queen this early in the final table.
Look at this flop, Tony. Ace-jack, 5 aces for Maria. Jacks for James. 3 spades out there, though. Neither player has a spade.
I have liked all of James' aggression so far, but I'm not crazy about this bet. These monotone boards play pretty well as checks, and he's got some showdown value here, so when he bets his hand, I don't think he can make worse hands call or better hands fold. Maybe some random jack no spade would fold, but for the most part, I just don't think his bet accomplishes that much.
Well, she has just called it, and we are going to the turn. Turn card, 9 of diamonds. Maria checks.
James cutting out another bet here, which makes me think James has decided to turn his hand into a bluff. He might think, okay, Maria's got a lot of one pair ace hands, and if I barrel 3 times, she's not going to be able to take the heat, so I'll set it up, bet small on the turn, and then blast away on the river.
It's a 950 on the turn. This is getting expensive. Maria in front, sitting pretty, and a jack on the river. Wow, wow. James hits a miracle card.
Forget about that bluff. Oh, this is a weird spot for James.
Maria's going to check it.
I don't know if you can expect an ace to call a third bet, and if an ace won't call, then should you bet? And look at that, James thinks the same way. He checks back there, and it looks really tight, but I don't think Maria is calling the triple barrel with an ace.
Check that jack. You?
I don't know. It's tough to call with just an ace.
But Maria gets off cheap. Bad suck out though for her. Again, Maria with ace queen. And she's getting whittled back into the middle of the pack, but she's raised here. And Jerry's going to splash around with Jack 3 of diamonds. Because he can. And here is the flop. Jack, Jack, King. Oh, what a flop for Jerry. And he's going to check it.
Again, Maria with one of those hands that could bet or check. You don't really get many better hands to fold by betting.
450, Jerry. Oh boy, show tune's going off in his head right now. Just making the call smoothly. Sickens Maria. And we are going to the turn. Irrelevant card, a 6. So Jerry looking good, hoping that Maria bets again.
Yeah, I like that check from Maria. Not much to be gained by betting. You're not going to get a king to fold.
A queen on the river. So now Maria does get queens here. That can get into a little trouble perhaps.
Maybe. It doesn't change very much about her hand. She's still behind a king or a jack. If Jerry had queen 10 for a straight draw on the flop, I don't think he's really going to bet that river. But at this size, Maria might get stuck into a call. It's just hard to find hands that you beat.
He has bet 675.
And there you go. She does make this call, so a nice bet sizing from Jerry there gets paid off with his trips in the river. Yeah, I think Maria has just been on the wrong side of some bad luck with her ace-queens. She's playing all those hands really well. She just needs to get some better river cards.
All right, Jerry's gonna pop it up to 550 with a king 7 of clubs. And it's around to James, who has his queen. Can you be? Every hand it seems like someone has this hand.
And James here is going to play it passively. He is first in chips to Jerry's second place. So again, not a lot of incentive to bloat the pot pre-flop.
Ace 9 deuce. James gonna check the aces. He's getting Jerry to bet 375.
I'm curious whether he calls or check raises here. I think if this were not a final table, he would check raise, but given that he wants to reduce the chances of playing a huge pot with Jerry, he goes with the call. And a king on the turn will give Jerry second pair, which is bad news for him. Otherwise, I think that was the last chip he puts in this pot. Now he may get sucked into calling a river bet.
And check, check. 8 on the river.
I'm a little surprised James has checked, but I guess he wants to represent a 9 and maybe induce some bluffs or thin value bets
800
from Jerry. And Jerry gonna take the bait here. He's gonna value bet his king, believing that James has a 9. He's bet pretty small. It's under half pot. James seems to believe his hand is worth a little more than that. He wants to put in a raise, and this is a very creative line from James, making this small river check raise. I would love the line that James has taken here if this were not a final table. And as is, you can tell that he has the best hand. He knows his hand is best. He's trying to get extra value out of it. So this is really brilliant stuff. I'm just surprised that he's doing it here.
Well, he chases his man away.
Yeah.
He puts some risk into that raise, but nevertheless, taking that pot down with aces.
What a creative play from James, a creative line. I think that for the most part, players either bet the river themselves or check call a bet. Check raising there tells me that he really believes that if Jerry had better than ace queen, he would have bet the turn 100%.
And look at this, Maria with 10s has raised to Chad with ace jack. He's on the short stack at this moment. In fact, there's 2 short stacks.
Two short stacks are going at it. Whoever wins will be in a much better position.
All in.
And he's going to shove it. Jerry's out, Eric's out, Ami out as well. So back on Maria.
And I do believe she'll call. This is a 14 blind shove.
Call.
Yeah.
She is going to make that call. She flips it up. She's going to like her position. She is a slight favorite to knock out Chad Evesledge. But Maria has been sliding down. Things aren't quite going her way anymore. Let's see if she gets lucky. 8-7-5. There's 3 hearts. Neither player has a heart, so good flop for Maria. Still out in front with the 10s. Going to the turn. And it's safe 7. Now she's a big favorite to knock out Chad. We've seen some crazy knockouts on the river here tonight. Let's see if this... No, it's a deuce of clubs.
Maria Ho will score the first elimination of his final table and knock out Chad.
That's right, Tony. He'll take home 148,000. We're down to 5.
700.
Eric with the 7-5 of hearts. He's going to get aggressive. Makes it 700 with that junk hand. Maria Ho with the King Jack of hearts.
And Maria, again, in a position where if she weren't at a final table, she would be 3-betting a fair bit. But at a final table, I think she's going to lean for the passive option. Yeah, she's going to call.
Yep, they both have a ton of chips.
And Jerry here has a hand that could squeeze as a 3-bet. He could call. But he's going to stay conservative and just fold. So heads up going to the flop. Both players holding hearts. Maria's Broadway, Eric 7 high, and both players make an open-ended straight draw here on this 10-9-8 flop. Maria with the superior one.
And she will check.
Same bet, 7.
Get Eric to bet 700,000.
Now Maria with the best possible open-ended straight draw and 2 overcards.
Taking a little time, but making the call. Hoping to catch here. Will she? Yes, she does with a queen. Top straight. Of course, there are 3 spades out there.
Yeah, so with that 3rd spade making Maria's hand, I would say she's cautiously optimistic here.
She's checking. And he's going to check behind. A lot of danger out there. River card. Another spade. And neither player has a spade. That's not good for Maria. She's got to hate that.
Yeah.
She's going to check and hope that Eric's going to check behind.
Now, if Eric bets here, it's a tough spot for Maria.
2.5.
Yeah, 2.5 million from Eric. Nice bet here. You can't win by checking, of course. Your opponent's more likely to call with suited hands than offsuit ones pre-flop, so I think you can actually weight Maria's range away from big spades. So I really like this bet from Eric, and Maria in a tough spot.
Reading her well, Eric. That's the sign of a good player. Apply pressure. Makes a player fold that has the better hand, and he's going to do it. Makes Maria fold the straight.
Good bluff from Eric there. Really no other way out.
Did you have a big spade?
I'm sorry?
Did you have a big spade?
You think I'm gonna fold a big spade there?
No, I was just asking.
What are you talking about? You slept up like 7 times to be here.
Yeah, that!
With some salt in the wound there, I think.
You probably bluffed me about 5 or 6 times.
James and Maria are both like, what language are you speaking?
It's just for confusion purposes, I think. Now, we move on to the next hand. Jerry here with a pair of 8s. Yeah, he's going to make it 700,000. Oh, now Eric really does have a hand. Pair of jacks. This is what he's been waiting for.
Jerry and Eric are both near the top of our leaderboard.
Whoa.
So Eric's going to take a more passive approach, and look at this. The trap works perfectly. Ami wakes up with 9s and rips it in.
Yep.
And I don't know how Jerry gets away.
Whoa, he's gone all in over the top.
So Jerry rips in 35 blinds, and now Eric with a decision. You know, his hand is very underrepresented by just calling from the small blind.
That's right. That's right.
For sure, I have the best hand.
You spend all final table chipping up.
For sure, I have the best hand.
You lay what you think is a trap for the guy, and then 2 players go all in. I can see why Eric's talking to himself
Yeah,
here.
he feels like he does have the best hand, and he does. But this is a tricky
Wow.
situation, and he is going to lay that down.
Seems a bit much to me, Vince, but I can see why Eric would choose to avoid a big
I know.
confrontation there. So.
I know. There's reasons there. Whoa. The 9's out in front for Ami.
Nice shove. What a flat. I was trapping the flat. I said he's going to shove. Calls a shove.
Let's see who gets lucky here. Ace, 10, 7, 2 hearts. So Ami safe with the 9's. And a king of hearts on the turn.
Oh, putain. Deuce of spades. Call it. Call it. Call me deuce of spades. Appelle-le. Ami. Ami, call it.
Well, Ami in good shape, but now he needs to dodge a heart or a 9 on the river.
Call it.
Look at this. Jerry putting the chips in like he's lost. Reverse psychology. Trying to put the jinx on Ami, and it's going to work. A 5 of hearts on the river.
Oh, Jerry, lucky on the river to knock out Ami in 5th place. Pocket 8, suck out on pocket 9.
This is just gonna crush. It's a $1 buy-in, $1 million guarantee. I can't believe no one's thought about this.
What idiot came up with this? This is a disaster. There's no way we're gonna cover this.
Sign up for free today at WPTGlobal.com and use bonus code LS30 to play the $1 for 1 million tournament.
Lucky 7.
Blinds a 150, 300 with a $300,000 big blind ante. Eric Alfria, 2-time WPT champion, has raised it to 700 with just a queen 3. And look at this. James is going to 3-bet here.
I like that 3-bet from James. Picked a good hand and opponent.
3.6.
But look at this. Eric hitting him with the 4-bet to 3.6 million. Whoa.
Just going to try to bulldoze him over with a complete bluff.
I have a love-hate response to this play from Eric. I love the aggression and how much pressure it puts on James, but you're 4-betting a hand that you shouldn't even open raise, so I kind of hate it too. But hey, it worked.
It works.
Aggression works at final tables, Vince. It really does, and we've seen this all season long on the World Poker Tour where, you know, there are guys at the table who might not play the most technical or fundamental poker, but they're really aggressive, and at these final tables, it's hard to respond to that when you're playing for this massive amount of money.
Great point. Action right back on Eric from Montreal. Well dressed always at the table.
Yeah, Eric Table. But have you noticed that he and Maria have kind of opposite day outfits going on? She's got black top, red jacket. He's got black jacket, red top.
Yeah, only you would notice that.
I would notice that.
All right, Maria, pair of 5s.
It's easy for me to say when I'm looking at Eric's cards, but I'd actually like to see Maria shove here. She is our shortest stack, and Eric is opening really wide with stuff like Queen 3 offsuit, but calling, of course, perfectly cool too.
Yeah, Jerry Wong here. He lives down in Fort Lauderdale, plays a lot of cash games. He's come back from the canvas here tonight to have a big stack, and he's going to call with his Queen 10. So the flop is a, oh man, 5-5 king, 4 of a kind for Maria Ho.
Overkill.
Show tune's going off in her head as she checks. Check, check.
What is Maria's show tune of choice when flopping slots? She's a pianist. I feel like there's something classical, like there's Mozart going off in her head right now.
Good question. Good question. All right, she's getting Eric to bet it. Close to 1.2. She's tickled pink about that. Jerry gets out of the way.
You just started the hand with. Sorry.
I have
6.
5.4 back.
A deuce on the turn's a pretty good card for Maria here. That will give Eric outs to a wheel with a 4, and that would get him to put a lot of money in the pot. Nope, Queen of Hearts on the river will not generate much action for Maria here.
Got a huge hand at some point. Throwing the rope out there, but now you got to put a little bet in. Hopefully this guy had something he can call with, but we know better. Eric just has ace high here. It would be a very tough call to make, of course.
Yeah, I don't think any bet size can be wrong for Maria, but with a little over pot to play, I'd like to see her move in just in case Eric runner to flush.
Well, she is fun to watch. Terrific player. As we go back down to the felt, four-handed poker. Jerry Wong, the local out of Florida. He's going to fold that. Now Eric just can't give a hand up. He's going to call with his 9-6. I love it.
Huh. Limping the button with 9-6-0. Okay.
James Carroll is the chip leader. He's 32 years old, the WPT champ, and he is going to limp in with his 10-7. Maria with 7-4, so 3 slop hands going to the flop.
And it's a sloppy flop. 6-3 deuce. Pretty good for Eric here, and not bad for Maria. She has a gut shot, an overcard, and a backdoor flush draw. And it looks like she wants to bet out here, and I like this play, Vince. This board connects pretty well with her big blind range, and presumably Eric is mostly limping stuff like 8 through queen. I don't really expect him to have a lot of 6s here. And he's going to raise it up with the 6 that I didn't expect him to have.
Yep, he's going to get aggressive with his top pair. James goes out.
Pretty small raise from Eric. Gets a little extra value from Maria here. Kind of locks her up and does get her to put in more money with a gut shot. So effective raise from Eric.
Yeah, she's going to call it. Pot's building. Turn card. Another 6.
Great from Eric. I would expect him to continue betting on a pretty draw-heavy board here. Huh. Checks back. Okay.
Yep. Drawing a trap here. 4 on the river. So Maria gets a 4. Of course, any 5 you're beat if you're Eric.
Yeah.
She's going to just check it.
I believe that Maria would mostly bet her 5s on the river. So Eric here, due for a value bet. Whoa.
Okay, he's going to check it. Just wants to play it cautious.
Huh.
And he'll take this one down.
Well, missed opportunity
69, my date of birth,
for
69.
Eric there. I don't know that Maria calls with her 4, but she's got to consider it when there's a missed flush draw out there. And Eric, with his aggressive image, is a guy that you don't want to make too many big folds against.
I don't think they think he's that aggressive tonight. That's the funny thing, because he doesn't have to show down a lot of hands.
This is true.
He's shown a lot of the big hands he had early on.
Yeah.
But he hasn't shown all these bluffs, so...
And he's kind of put his foot on the pedal the last orbit or two. Prior to that, he was picking his spots. Now all of a sudden, he's blasting away with Queen 3 offsuit. He's limping 9-6-0. Here he's thinking about something with 7-6 offsuit.
Well, he is just in a groove. He thinks he can do no wrong. This is very creative poker, very intuitive. Jerry Wong with ace-10 has made it 700,000.
All right.
It's suited. And look at this, Eric over the top.
Eric going full Icarus, just blasting up 7-6 offsuit here.
Gets James Carroll to drop 6s. And now it's back on Jerry, ace-10 of hearts.
This is such a weird spot for Jerry.
It is.
Eric goes smaller, he's just going to call. If it's not a final table, maybe Jerry could shove. Again, we see the effectiveness of aggression.
Look at this. Look at this. He's acting like, oh, I let you escape. I had a big hand. Just beautifully done by Eric. Good poker face. Great reader of players here tonight. Now, right back at him, Jerry with the big ace-queen. That's better than ace-10, that's for sure. Jerry Wong, cash game player in Florida. Now look, he's raised it, but Eric behind him. Incredible.
Oh, wow.
Ace-king of spades.
And especially after making that huge re-raise against Jerry. What a cooler and an opportunity for Eric to get a bunch of money into this pot. Eric gonna go real small here. Just makes it 1.3 million.
Doesn't want to shake him loose. Doesn't realize Jerry has a pretty strong ace-queen.
Kind of a missed opportunity for Eric here. I think if he raises larger, even just a normal 3-bet size, Jerry never gets away.
Flop is, oh wow. 6-4-3, all spades. Eric has flopped the nuts.
I like that check from Eric. You really don't do that much betting on the monotone low boards.
Another
Wow,
spade.
and now poor Jerry turns a spade flush here. Checks it. That should keep him from losing his stack. Interesting check from Eric. I'd like to see him get money in the pot with his image, but when you've got the ace and king of spades, it's hard to believe your opponent can call twice.
3 pairs the board. Now Jerry has to think he's in front here with his queen of spades. The
you
way it was
gotta.
played by Eric. So he's going to put in a bet. Yes, 1.5. And you got to think Eric's going to come over the top.
What? Eric just called?
Oh, wow.
What is going on here?
Insta call. He should have at least taken a few minutes, but he has elected to go very conservative.
Here with the queen 3, she'll let it go. Now Jerry on the button with jack 10 suited. He's on something of an awkward stack. And he elects to just limp on the button, which normally I wouldn't like, but with Eric blasting away in the small blind, I get why Jerry's just trying to keep the pot small and see a flop in position, so Eric completes, James will check. 3 ways to this flop of 10-8-4. So a good one for Jerry, and an interesting one for Eric. He is open-ended, looking for a 9 or a 5.
Jerry's going to bet 600. Quick call by Eric. And James gets out of the way. Going to the turn. It's a 9. Beautiful card for Eric. Alfriati has hit his straight here. And he's going to check. There's 3 hearts out there as well.
Interesting card for Jerry. His hand does improve a little bit by gaining an open-ender, but now he's, of course, drawing dead if Eric has a flush. So Jerry bets kind of small here for $1 million. Eric just calls.
8 of hearts. Neither player has a heart. It pairs the board. That's a slowdown card for both players. Eric's going to check it. Check, check. Eric shows the straight. And he will take this one down.
Maria here with jack 6 in the small blind. Facing an opponent with about 12 or 13 blinds, just rips it in.
Kings, call.
Ooh, that's unfortunate for Maria, but not much either player can do there.
That's Chad's favorite hand.
You're not Chad, though, so rough for you.
Well, Jerry is on the short stack. Maria has twice as much as him, so she can afford this. But let's see if, well, she's got a 6 there. Ace 10-6 flop.
Jerry just wants to see an ace to basically end this hand. King, of course.
Jack of spades for fun.
Jack of spades, he says, would be fun. That would be fun. Not exactly ideal for you, but okay.
It's a 3. Jerry, 1 card closer to take it down this pot, doubling up. Or can Maria hit this long shot and knock Jerry out? No, it's a 10. Pairs the board. Jerry Wong also going out. Now James Carroll with a king 6. Just calls it. And Maria with a 5-4. All right, she's content to see 3 cards. And it's a queen 5-3, so Maria hitting a pair of 5s here. James with nothing.
James with just enough showdown value to check over to Maria. Maria, I think I prefer a bet in her shoes. No harm in checking. She does have a fairly vulnerable pair.
Deuce of hearts on the turn. James is going to come out and bet 800,000. Maria, open-ended straight flush. She is in front at this point. Making the call. River card is a king. Now James just hitting kings here.
Oof. Rough card for Maria. James really isn't supposed to have many kings here outside of having, exactly this kind of hand or a king of hearts. And he bets really big. He pots it. And what a well-sized value bet from James Carroll. I really don't mind Maria's call here. She's got a good bluff catcher. She's blocking some of the strongest hands, and James shouldn't have that many kings. It's a blind versus blind pot where I don't want to overfold to an aggressive opponent, and she calls him. And unfortunately for Maria, James with the river.
Great sizing at the end by James Carroll. Gets Maria to make a mistake there. Now Maria on the short stack. She's in a lot of trouble right now. Down to about 2.5 million, and it's on her. She looks down to the king deuce.
All in.
There you go. Let's see if it works. She's gone all in. Jerry with a nothing hand can't call that, so Maria Ho will come back.
Yeah, good shove from Maria there. Not much you can do down to 7-ish blinds in the small. But at this stage, blinds are so high that even our chip leader only has about 50 blinds, so Maria could win a couple all-ins and be right back in the mix.
And we got a couple folds, and now James with 9-8 of spades has goal all in. Maria's going to call this with ace-deuce.
And Maria, a small favorite with her ace-deuce against James' 9-8 of spades. And I know which one has the crowd support.
Whoa, ace, king, queen. Maria getting lucky on the flop. Out flops James. Now she's a big favorite to win this hand and double up. But you never know. Let's go to the turn. It's a 9. A 9 that obviously helps James. So look at this, getting interesting. Last card is a king. Maria Ho will double up, and we still have 4 players remaining.
800.
James out. Maria is going to look at a king deuce. She's got the momentum going with her. Is she thinking this, Tony?
No. Shoving with a deuce in your hand would be way too much unless it's a pair of deuces or maybe an ace-deuce, but I don't think you want to fold with a king in your hand either against Eric, and both players flopping top pair on king 7-6.
Eric's going to come out with a continuation bet of 600,000.
Maria has the benefit of holding the king of diamonds. So you see, she actually has higher equity than Eric here, despite him holding the higher kicker. The vast majority of runouts they will chop, and at this stage they are both drawing to 3 outs for a win. Any other card will deliver a chop.
8 on the turn, yeah, check, and a deuce for Maria, kings and deuces.
Oh, hell yeah, that's the card for Maria.
1.7.
And if I'm Eric, I can't imagine folding top pair here. Whoa. Okay, just a call from Eric.
Yeah.
So he'll get the bad news. This time he was rivered by Maria.
He blinds a 2 and 400.
What a dream card.
Eric's still bitching about the last hand.
What a dream card.
And I don't blame him. Get rivered out for a big pot. Momentum is everything in these short-handed poker games.
800,000 from James here.
Maria has been in a nice little rush to build her chips way back. But she's going to go out here, Jerry with a king 10.
Jerry on the fringe here between calling and shoving. He's going to make the call. Ooh, interesting flop here. Queen 10-6, 2 hearts. So James with the ace-high flush draw, Jerry with middle pair. James will start with a small bet of 600,000. And Jerry will make this call.
Yep, Jerry in front, but James would like to hit the heart. No, a 6 on the turn. And Jerry's going to check again.
I imagine that will slow James down here, as Jerry is much more likely to have a 6.
With 8 of hearts, James connects with the flush.
And now it's a question of bet size. How much do you think Jerry will call with a queen or a 10? How about all of it? Yeah, I very much like this bet size from James. He's essentially shoving, hoping that Jerry has a 6 or a queen with a decent heart, like the jack of hearts or 9 of hearts or something that would block some of the best combos that James could have for value. So I don't think Jerry will call here. That would be pretty ambitious without a heart in his hand and just holding second pair.
Action clock is ticking down to 2 seconds. He's got to make a decision or buy more time with the chip, and he's going to do that. The This would be a disaster if he calls us. He's out of here. So no hero call. Good fold.
Yeah, good fold from Jerry there. I think calling would have been very optimistic. And a nice bet size from James. He'd likely do the same thing if he were bluffing. And you see that had he been bluffing, he would have got Jerry to fold the best hand. And had Jerry had a 6 or queen with a heart, I think he just stacks him. So nice hand from both players.
Right back at Jerry. Jack 9 of clubs makes it 800,000 to go. Eric's going to call with an ace 8 of hearts.
James with a queen jack. You could 3-bet or call here. He's just going to call. And now Maria, does she want to make it a family pot with 6-5? She does not. So the 3 amigos.
King 10 deuce.
It's actually a pretty nice flop for James. The only one holding a diamond here, open-ended. And both his opponents just didn't meaningfully connect with this board, so they check around. 9 on the turn will give James the nuts. And another check to his opponents. Love the way he's playing this hand.
Gives Jerry a pair of 9s, but these guys are not bragging about their hands, so they all check. 3 on the river, changes nothing. Big straight here for James Carroll.
And now you do have to bet as James. And you see again, he's going with a big sizing. I don't know what I think of his sizing this time.
2.8.
For the most part, I've liked the times he chose a really big bet size, but here, it really seems like if any of his opponents had a decent hand, we would have heard about it. Whoa, look at that! Jerry calls him down with a 9, and James Carroll in his perfect bet size makes me eat my words.
Yeah, he got the action he wanted by the oversized bet.
I'm very surprised, Vince. I did not expect Jerry to make a call with a 9 there or a hand that weak. James knows his opponent better than I do. Credit to him with the big bet size.
What is it, 3-6?
Look at this. The blinds have gone up again, Tony, to 3 and 500 with a big blind Andy of 5 and on Eric, and he is going to make it $1 million with his pair of 5 and on Eric, and he is going to make it $1 million with his pair of 4s.
Jerry's pretty short now. You might want to rip this in.
All in.
It's his last 8 blinds, and Eric will be priced into this call. So he flicks his red chips out.
Yep, he makes the call. They turn him up.
We are flipping for Jerry's tournament life.
Jerry, the 9 lines are over.
Yeah? Is that approved?
Okay, good care. 4 hearts. Let's finish it off.
Eric staying confident with the table talk.
4 hearts. Right now.
Can it knock out the ace-9 of Jerry Wong?
I'm born on the 4th. My daughter's born on the 4th. 4th is the right number. Keep him small. Keep him small.
And the flop is a Jack-Jack 6. 4 is looking good so far.
But not an ideal flop. A 6 would actually award this pot to Jerry. He's also the only one holding a heart. But really, he needs an ace or a 9.
Like the reverse emotional hedge.
Deuce of diamonds.
And that's a great card for Eric.
So Jerry Wong, originally out of Brooklyn, New York,
Deuce of diamonds.
now living in South Florida, the family man on the ropes, 1 card away from elimination. Eric, a big favorite here. Jerry's just 20%. It's an ace or a 9. It's not going to happen. 5 of diamonds on the river.
We are going to lose Jerry Wong in 4th place. Came in short, ran it up, but eventually ran out of steam.
Oh, Phil, I'm glad I caught you. I don't know what you're getting into this weekend, but I'm hosting my monthly poker game. Yeah, the stakes, they're a little smaller, but with straddles and bomb pots, it can play pretty big. Put it this way, Phil, I've seen the pot reach $100, and my wife is making her nacho dip, so it's pretty good.
Hold, please. Did you say nachos?
Sign up for free today at WPTGlobal.com and use bonus code LS30 to play the $1 for $1 million tournament.
All in.
And right now, Maria Ho with a pair of 10 says all in, but Eric Afriet right behind her with ace-queen.
I call.
Oh, yeah, he's going to make the call.
And James gets out of the way, so they turn up the cards here.
Ace queen.
Maria Ho with the pair of 10s.
Deuce. Call it. Call
The
it.
WPT championship has eluded her so far in her career, but she's well accomplished, and now all her chips are in there in a race. Here we go with the flop. It's a 9-8-8. That is good for Maria Ho. Going to the turn. Something crazy going to happen. It's a jack.
Well, normally Eric would have a straight draw here, but on the paired board, a 10 would give Maria a full house, and a queen would give her a straight, so he can only catch an ace to eliminate Maria.
Yeah, Maria in great shape to double up. And it's going to happen. Deuce of spades on the river.
James with the queen 8 of hearts on the button here.
Raise.
Raise it up to $1 million.
Maria folds.
Eric with the call. Hell of a flop for Eric Afriyat here. Pair of kings and the nut flush draw. James with queen high and a backdoor flush draw. It's actually a pretty good board for him to bet here. I think that if Eric had one of the stronger aces, he would just shove over the raise pre-flop, so James a little less concerned about Eric having a big hand. Deuce of spades doesn't change much here. And again, I wouldn't be surprised if James just used this opportunity in texture as a chance to barrel down and see if he can force Eric to fold what he probably thinks is a medium king or a 5. And as we know, Eric does have a medium king, but with the clubs to go along with it, he is thrilled to put that $2 million in the pot. But the jack of diamonds on the river is no help to Eric. So if James goes for the triple, he's gonna have a tough decision.
I'm not folding.
He says, I'm not folding. And James says, let's see about that.
Okay, what a flop. Got king 9 of clubs.
And the tricky part for Eric is he's seen James do these big bet sizes with a lot of strong hands today.
I should have shoved it on the flop. I should have shoved it. Should have shoved it on the flop. I didn't because I had a feeling that the ace. Many chips around the button.
This would be the call of the tournament. Well, he's going to do it.
Wow! Big call.
He's done it. What a call. Cards bouncing off the table. Eric Afriyat.
King 9 of clubs.
That's why he's a 2-time WPT champion, for instincts like that. Beautifully done. Going after his 3rd title.
$1.2 million from James on the button with king 5. And here with pocket jacks facing a raise from James. Is he going to 3-bet? No, just a call. That's surprising.
Just doesn't ever do what you expect him to do. That's his strength. And the flop is an 8-3 deuce.
Now, not much of a board for James there. He elects to check back. Queen on the turn could inspire a bet. James with one of those marginal hands that could just show down, could turn it into a bluff, and he wants to bluff here. He bets 1.4 million, and that will lead to an instant call from Eric Afriyat and his pocket jacks. On the river, we get a 3 of diamonds, and that is a better card for the range of Eric in the big blind than James raising the button, so I would be very surprised if James went after this. Yeah, he'll check it back.
Yeah, he'll check it back, and Eric will show the jacks. Could have been bigger, but he'll take it. Going after his 3rd WPT title. Non-professional, so-called non-professional, but a great player. Looking good. And it's all Maria. She's got jack 9. Well, she will just call it.
First limp we've seen out of Maria today. Eric will complete in the small. checks his queen 9.
3 of them. All in the same pot. The flop is a 10-5, 3, 2 diamonds. So 10s for Eric Afriet. And he's coming right out there and bet $1 million. James goes out.
Maria with 3 to a straight, 3 to a flush, and an overcard has just enough to continue here and makes the call.
She certainly does. Going to the turn. Can she get lucky? Well, she gets a 9, which gives her a little pair.
Yeah, she gets unlucky. That is the worst card in the deck for her. Now Maria with enough hand to call down Eric on a board where he could have a number of draws and bluffs. So Eric bets 2.4 million.
And he's not going to slow down. Hefty size bet. Maria, now she's involved. She's going to make this call. We're going to the river. Pot's getting big. King of spades on the river.
Well, Maria probably won't turn her hand into a bluff if Eric bets, but you could consider it. You block 2 pair, you block the straights. Eric bets 1.3 million. He's going for a little bit of thin value with this blocking bet of about 1/8 pot. And if you're Maria, I don't know how you would fold. You feel like you're getting milked, but the price you're getting is amazing. You need to catch Eric bluffing like once and forever for this to be profitable.
She gets curious, makes the call. And Eric proudly turns over his hand. Maria with ace-5 here.
All in.
She's going to try it again. All in. Eric goes out. And James has a king-queen.
Oof, so close. I don't know if James will fold this one. Yeah, he's gonna make this call, Vince.
Yep, he's made the call.
Maria is all in and at risk, but she is a favorite here with the ace-5.
And she's getting her chips in with the best of it as she smiles to her rail, her family, her friends. Let's see the flop. Ace, queen, jack. So Maria with aces. Outflops James.
Oh, that's a scary flop, though, for Maria. Yeah, she's in the lead, but any king, any queen, any 10, and it's over. Well, let's see if she can hold on here.
Turn card coming up. King!
And James makes 2 pair on the turn. And now it is Maria who needs to catch up to stay alive. And with a 4 on the river, the 2 pair of James Carroll are going to knock out Maria home.
And he will quickly raise it up with the 3-5 of clubs. Makes it 1.3. James Carroll with a 9-8 of diamonds. 2 seductive hands. Makes this call. Flop is a queen, queen 7. No help for either player.
900.
How do you like that? 900.
You know what I would like, Vince, is a check raise from James. You definitely want to have some bluffs on these paired board textures, and with the 7 of diamonds out there, there's so many good turn cards for you. Well, he elects to call. So he will float instead with his 9 high, which is actually the best hand, and Eric. And his 5 high doesn't have much going on this turn, but maybe he wants to bluff on that ace.
1.8.
And he is betting it 1.8. An additional 2.6.
James hits him with the check raise 1 street later than I expected. But this should still be very effective as Eric was bluffing himself with 5 high.
Yeah, he's going to lay that down. So good manipulation by James Carroll.
So the first big pot of our heads-up match being pushed towards James Carroll. We've got some distance to make up here, but starting things on the right foot.
This time with the button, James takes a look down at a big king queen.
Raise.
will raise to 1.3. Eric, though, behind him with ace-king.
35.
Two powerhouses. Eric's going to make it 3.5 million.
Well, I'm sure James believes him, but king-queen in a heads-up match is way too good to fold, so James makes this call. In position, looking to improve. And on 10-10 queen, that's exactly what he does. James takes the lead here. Eric now drawing to an ace or a jack.
1.5.
And he'll start off with a small bet here, 1.5 into 7.5 million. James again with a decision between calling and raising. He'll start with a call.
Eric looking to get lucky here on this turn. This is a massive pot. It's nothing card, 5 of spades.
Not much happening for Eric here.
3 spades out there too.
Difficult for him to double barrel into that card, so he'll check. James, does he want to try and bet for value or induce a bet by checking? He will check. And a harmless card on the river. I'd be surprised if Eric bluffed here. He's just got a little too much hand to turn into a bluff. And I doubt that James is going to fold a queen, so why bother? Yeah, he does check. And James now, he's all out of checks. It's really a question of how much do you bet. Pot of 10.6 million, he'll bet 9.3, so he continues his trends of big bets on the river. Action back to Eric.
9.3 million.
Well, that is discouraging if you're Eric. You start with that huge hand, everything going right, and now catastrophe.
Listen.
And he's got to lay that down. James Carroll now on a big comeback. He is now the chip leader.
No, Eric got out flop, but didn't lose much post.
Those are a lot of outs. You think I'm messing with you? He's king.
He's been honest all night.
He's queen.
My hand was good too. My hand was really good too.
I believe it. I would have called the shove.
Eric loves to brag about that he plays only big hands. He does not. He just doesn't show those junk hands that he wins with extraordinary bluffs.
Next time I play poker with Eric, I'm going to talk all night and believe everything he says.
A lot of momentum for James Carroll, and he picks up aces.
They're not even mine, and I get excited looking at them.
They'll go to 1.3. Eric, caught in this with a king 10, makes this call. And the flop is a 9-7-4. Eric gets none of that. He goes check. James with the aces, the big overpair.
And this flop is a little bit dangerous for Eric. He has just enough hand with the overcards and the backdoor straight draw to continue, so he's going to make this call, but as you can see, unless he hits his straight, he's basically drawing dead. Well, a 10 will improve Eric, but still leaves him miles behind James, and now gives him a hand to call down with.
Yeah, it's an awful card for Eric. Now he's got to stick around. 3.3 has been bet. He's got top pair with a huge kicker. He might think he's in front. And he is going to call this. Going to the river. Can the aces hold up? Or will something stupid happen? It's another ace. Eric in a quandary.
2.5.
What to do? Oh no, he's going to put in a blocker bet, it appears.
Well, Eric trying to set his own price on the river. We know that this river is going to cost a lot more than 2.5 million.
And there's the raise. Total of 11.3.
Rough spot for Eric. Yeah, James can have ace-high diamonds or two pair or straight with the jack-8, but there's also a lot of hands that have missed by the river. And when you're sitting there with king 10, you really think, man, it's hard for me to get here with a better hand than this.
Going for the bluff again.
Am I gonna believe this guy?
Gonna make him talk though. That's old-fashioned table talk at the poker table. And he's gonna release it. Nice fold.
Show one time. Yeah, we can show it once. Show one.
Can't do it,
At
can't
least
do
let me show. Let me see one. I showed you all night. Have some
Can't do it.
respect.
Can't do it. I'm sorry.
You can show one.
Can't do it, Eric. Sorry.
2 million.
He's got 10-8. He's going to make it 2 million. James Carroll with a Jack-9 of hearts. He's not going anywhere. He's making this call. The flop is a Jack 3-3. So James with Jacks up.
What a huge flop for James. He has Eric essentially drawing dead here.
2-4.
And this is a pretty good flop for Eric to go ahead and bet. I think he has chose a too large size. He doesn't need to put this much into the pot to get James to fold most of his hands, but he will not be folding a Jack. James makes the call.
Turn card is another Jack. So Jack's full for James Carroll. Now you would think he's going to just check and trap, but no, this is very interesting. He's
Whoa.
coming out with a bet to potentially chase his opponent away, but
6.8.
Oh, and it worked perfectly. This might be my favorite play of the final table. On
Yep.
paper, I don't like it. I think you should check to Eric. But if you know your man,
yeah,
you lead right into him and make him raise you.
yep, he knew he was going to try to bluff it if he let out, and this is brilliant. And now he's sitting pretty.
And now what? Do you call? Do you shove? Do you click? What's going on next?
A lot of excitement in his mind right now. Oh, he's going to come over the top.
James with the small raise. In the online poker days, we'd say he clicked it back. Didn't even bother sliding the raise bar over. He just clicked it right on him.
And now Eric knows he has a problem. That'll make a believer out of you.
How much you have left?
Yeah, Eric doing a little posturing here. How much you got left? Oh, I'm really thinking about it. I think Eric knows he's dead in the water here.
You gotta respect that the guy let out with Jacks full to induce a bet by you. I mean, that's just brilliant. The clock is ticking down. No more time. Eric gives it up, but not without a huge loss here to turn things around. Well done, James Carroll.
I've really loved the way James has played this whole final table, but that might be my favorite hand. For the most part, he's played good fundamental poker, but every now and then he takes it to the streets and says, I know you better than you do.
Mm-hmm. So true. It's back on him. He's got Queen 6 of diamonds. And he just calls. Yeah, Eric not going to raise, so they're getting in cheap. And the flop is going to be a Jack 9-6. 6 is for James Carroll.
He'll check it back and turn 2 pair.
Oh, yeah.
1.4.
Eric with a gut shot and a king for the overcard will fire out here. As you can see, the 10 is his only out. 1.4 million. James makes the call.
Just gonna walk the dog this time. And the last card, Ace of Hearts. So Eric getting none of that.
Check.
Finally gets the memo.
Eric finds the break. And James again with a decision about how much do you want to bet on the river with a big hand.
Now we know that Eric has an uncallable hand.
6.8.
Unless he wants to get fancy, come back over the top with nothing. That would be a mistake.
Yeah, that would be an evening ender.
Oh, this game is rough. He's got to lay this down. Another big investment. So things have turned around, and now James Carroll, a heavy chip leader.
Oh, this is turned on Eric Ofriat so quickly.
And, well, he's got a mid-sized pair. Pair of 6s.
2 million.
Gonna go up to 2 million. And he started this hand with just a little over 10 blinds. So I wonder if James thinks King 8 is good enough to go with here. Yes, he does.
Yep.
He's all in, and Eric makes this call. So we are flipping for a title, Vince. If Eric wins, he'll be about even in chips with James. If James wins, he is a 2-time WPT champion.
Eric going after his third title. Let's see this flop. King, king, queen! 3 of a kind for James.
Eric literally gnashing his teeth at the sight of those kings.
James staying cool for a huge moment. 715,000 to the victor.
6 of clubs. Come on, 6 of clubs. Come on, let's hit it.
And the man from Montreal is not going to give up just like that. He's begging for the 6, but not there. 3 of hearts.
6 of clubs.
He's feisty. He needs the miracle. 6.
Time. Call it, guys.
2 outer.
Queen on the river. James Carroll is your champion. Make that a 2-time WPT champion for James Carroll.
Standing here with 2-time WPT champion, James Carroll.
Hey, JRB,
Tony,
you playing the big tournament this weekend?
I'm about to find out.
Press 1 for checking account balance. Your balance is $1.
It's not just a dollar. It's your ticket to $1 million tournament. Sign up for free today at WPTglobal.com and use bonus code LS30.
Now, Will, a young professional that I've encountered on the table at a number of our events, very methodical guy, said he's been studying these final table situations leading up to today, so he is well prepared going up to 90,000.
He has raised, and Stacy Jones going out. Yeah, Craig Varnell says he doesn't study poker. He just plays poker by feel, and he's feeling this. He's going to make this call.
Now, a contrast of styles as we go to this flop between the 2 chip leaders at our final table. And it is a much better flop for Will holding the club flush draw.
Yes, indeed. Our chip leader coming out with a continuation bet with the 4 flush of 80,000. And that is going to do it. So, Will Berry grew up in Norman, Oklahoma, now lives in Oklahoma City. Take it down, pot number 1 here tonight.
There we go.
Right back on Will. He's playing poker full-time for the last 5 years, he says. He's going to quickly fold this. Stacy Jones also going out. Now, Craig Varnell, it appears he likes his ace-4.
Raise.
This is kind of a loose raise from Craig, but with the chip leader out and the players behind him likely to play a little tight early in the final table, I don't mind this adjustment. But Trung, in the small blind here, it's going to make the call with ace-queen.
Yeah, Trung is interesting. He's only been playing poker for 2 years, lives in Houston, Texas. And he's got ace-queen over Craig's ace-4. Here we go with the flop. It is a jack-7 deuce, all spades.
Not much for either player here. These monotone flops are usually played rather passively. Trung, his hand's a little bit underrepresented by just calling pre-flop. He's going to lead out here for the min bet. Not sure what I think of this play, but it's gonna work. Craig, with nowhere to go, just drops his ace-4, and Trung will take down that pot.
Yes, there's his rail. Family and friends rooting him on. Used to manage the family business. That was a salon. Now he's playing a lot of poker.
Well, a couple of years into his career and already at his first WPT final table. Very encouraging for his future as a card player. But that king-8 suited seems like a hand that deserves an open on the cutoff. He'll drop it out, and Nick will raise 9-7 offsuit on the button.
And Nick Papillo says he's very superstitious. He's been wearing that scarf the whole week.
Is that a scarf or a towel?
Will folds. Stacy Jones, look at this. He is the club owner out of Odesso, and he picks up queens.
Stacy with an option here between moving all in for his 20-something blinds or making a smaller raise and hoping to induce Nick to put the money in. So he'll pump it up to 270,000.
Stacy, the club owner's going to take down the pot. And there's the chip leader, Will Berry. He goes out. And now the club owner from Texas, Stacy Jones. He has ace-8 of hearts. And he will move it up to 115. Craig folds, put around to Austin. He's going to go away as well. And now Trung with an attractive ace-10.
And Trung could call or just move in on Stacy here. Either play would be profitable. Kind of depends on his style and what he thinks of Stacy. I'll start by calling.
Just going to call. So Stacy Jones, the club owner. Been playing poker since he's 17. Involved here. Flop is a jack. 7-3 helps neither player. Trung's going to check.
Neither player hits this flop.
150.
But they both have some backdoor draws that could create interesting spots on the turn. So Stacy's going to bet 150,000. And Trung, he's going to continue with a check raise here. Ooh, this is interesting, and I think I really like it, Vince, because this locks up Stacy with his 20-something big blind stack and forces him to decide if he wants to move all in or just go out with a hand that's going to have a decent amount of equity.
And Stacy on the short stack. And he's going to sing "I'm out" right now as he folds the hand to Trung. Good strong move by Trung Pham, who's only been playing poker a couple years. Lives in Houston, Texas. Says he learned a lot from David the Dragon Pham. And we'll go right back at him. Will Berry now with a pair of 7s. Makes it 110 to go. Stacy looks down at a queen jack. He'll take a rest. Craig Varnell also out. And now Austin Lewis, here he is again. He's got the big ace-king.
Austin's not a professional poker player. He is a finance guy.
340.
For a living, but a lot of those finance types enjoy playing poker and tend to think about the game pretty well. So Austin, he's going to make this 3-bet here to 340,000. Will, with a pair of 7s, will make the call out of position, so heads up between these two.
Austin's a family man, married with children. Says he only plays poker once every few months. And now he's at the final table, and he's going to catch kings here as a king-queen-4 appear.
Yeah, nice flop for Austin's ace-king here, but also a board that should keep Will out of trouble. I'd be surprised if he wants to continue facing another bet from Austin on this texture.
300.
Austin not going to play any games. He makes it 300. WPT earnings of, guess what? How much?
For Austin?
Yeah.
Probably a small figure for a guy who doesn't play very much. What's the number?
0.
0. Not after today.
All right, we are just getting started here at Esports Arena in Las Vegas. 6 players battling for the championship. We're coming back for more on the World Poker Tour. 6 players remain. The blinds are 25 and 50. And we are going down to the felt. Austin Lewis will look down at a queen 10 of spades. Pretty good hand. He'll make it 125 to go. Into Trung. He's going to quickly fold. Nick goes out, and now our chip leader, Will. Oh, Will has caught the big hand. Ace-king.
All of the spades out. Trung folded 2 spades, Austin holding 2 spades, Will with the ace of spades. He's going to 3-bet this to 380. And I think in most contexts, Austin would call pre-flop, but with Stacy short and Austin on one of the middle stacks, he might be more cautious than usual. Let's see what he does.
I've never met a guy from the stock market that was a bad poker player.
It's very rare. These guys spend their lives betting on numbers. It's not that surprising. They'd be talented at betting on cards.
They can make some moves. They're usually quite good, and he is. All right. Down to the felt again. Trung with a quick fold. Nick now picking up a pair of 6s.
As far as I'm concerned, Vince, finance is just a fancy word for gambling.
That's right. Nick's made it 125. And Will go out. And the cowboy also going out. And Craig with a little pair of fours here. So he will make the call. Austin with 10-8 will join the party. Splash around. And we will see the flop.
3 players go into this flop, and it is ace-5 deuce, 2 clubs. Decent board for Nick's sixes. He's the only player holding a club. And he's going to start with a small bet here to the tune of 150. And Craig with a gut shot and a pair has a little too much hand to fold. Austin gets out of the way. So heads up going to the turn, and the ace of clubs should slow down the action here. Not the card either player wanted to see, so a quick check. And a king of diamonds again. Something of an action killer on the river. Nick is going to check and hope Craig has a 5, but he actually has just a little worse. Nick Papillo gonna take that one down.
He's got career WPT earnings of 108,000, but he has 2.5 in overall career earnings.
Oh yeah, Nick's a grinder. He puts in the time on the circuit and just loves to play the game of poker. Action's back on Craig. Not happening.
Yeah, quick fold by him. Austin also going out. Trung not even thinking about it. Nick with the king, queen of spades.
We've determined that his scarf is actually a t-shirt. Right behind him, Will finds ace-jack. One of those hands you can mix between 3-betting and calling in these situations. I think if I'm Will with the chip lead and Stacy being short, I want to lean towards 3-betting, but he's going to make this call. And Stacy in the big blind, going to throw on his shades, toss in a 100K chip, and we will have a 3-way flop.
All right, and the flop is a 5-3 deuce, 2 clubs.
Pretty good flop for Will Berry. 2 overcards, the ace of clubs, gut shot to the 4. And it is the 4 of clubs that materializes. So both Will and Stacy with a straight. Will with the nut outs to an ace-high flush. And even Stacy could win the entire pot if he catches a 6 that is not a club.
Yeah, Stacy's betting his straight right now. Probably thinks he's in front. Little does he know, he's got the same hand and drawing worse than Will.
All in.
Oh, he's just gonna go all in. Interesting.
Stacy making this call. They turn him up.
We got a free roll.
This has turned out very well for Will. As you can see, Stacy has a small chance of winning the entire pot, catching one of those 3 clean 6s to give him the 7-high straight. But if Will catches a club, and there's 9 remaining, it's over for Stacy.
Black 6. Black 6 is fair.
Black, okay. All right, we'll go. Well, it would have to be, look like a shuffle. It looks like a shuffle. Yeah, 50-50 on that.
Stacy Jones could be his last bull ride. And he's going to chop this up. He's going to stick around with a 7 hitting the board.
Nice.
He survives.
Put the heat on me, bro. But I expect didn't seem too worried.
Fist bumps all around.
With ace 3 of spades, highly superstitious man will make the raise to 130. Our chip leader Will can't play that mess. And now our cowboy, club owner Stacy, gets off the horse. And Craig Varnell with money in there with a 3 deuce will splash around. So there you go, ace 3 versus 3 deuce. Flops an ace 9 5, 2 diamonds.
Great flop for Nick. Not a bad one for Craig with 4 outs to the nuts. I guess a 4 of diamonds wouldn't give him the nuts, but 3 outs to the nuts and 1 more to a very strong hand. So he'll make the call for 110,000.
Yep, and there's the Craig fans. Look at this, pictures everywhere. It's got to be good to be Craig right now.
Crowd even has the Broncos hats going.
I
That's
know.
solidarity.
Craig gets a little piece of that with the deuces. They go check, check, and ace on the river. Beautiful for Nick.
Craig checks over to Nick. who, with trip aces, is going to make a value bet to 325, and Craig might be a little tempted to call here with his deuce, wondering, oh, would Nick really check that many aces on the turn? Is he going to value bet a lot of worse pairs? I'm not so sure, so let's see what Craig does. Look at this. Craig cutting out a raise.
Wow.
He's going to 1.15 million. This is an interesting check raise. I guess he does block the straight and some full houses, but maybe this is a bit much. He's trying to make Nick fold a 9 or a pair in between the 9 and the ace.
He's not putting Nick on an ace. We know Nick has an ace, bad kicker. But it's going to be called by Nick, and Craig is going to hate himself in the morning.
Let's see what he's going for there, Vince. I don't know that was the ideal hand to make that play with, but it wasn't a bad one.
Craig's got to be kicking himself there, thinking he could muscle him out. Didn't happen.
I think Craig was hoping that Nick was betting a 9 or a pair in between the 9 and the ace, and he could get one of those hands to fold, but tough to make your opponent fold trips on that texture.
Ace 10 of hearts here by Stacy, our cowboy at the table. He's going to raise it up. Austin going out. And Trung Pham with a strong king-jack of clubs.
He's going to make the call from the small blind against our short stack.
Yeah, Nick won't play. So Stacy, the club owner, sings karaoke at his club, wants to get lucky, but a king 4 deuce. It's lucky for Trung, hits kings.
Big flop here for Trung.
250.
Stacy is betting way too big. King 4 deuce is a texture we want to bet probably 100% of the time, and we can use a really small bet to drive out a lot of hands. There's no reason to go this big. Trung is about to get paid. And look at this, he's going to hit him with a min check raise. That should drive Stacy. I was going to say drive him out, not drive him in.
You have it. He does have a king.
Oh, Vince.
Well, he's gone all in. A quick call, of course, by Trung.
Have you slicked every time? That's right, you got it.
I had it all three times.
Got a backdoor ace, yeah. He's running.
I figure it's gonna be a 3 on the turn, or a 5.
Let's do it.
It's always gonna be a sweat, so.
Looking for that ace. Oh, he got the ace! Yeehaw! Whoa!
That's hard for me to watch, Vince.
Still not over.
I feel sick for Trung.
And it's a 3 of diamonds. So Trung is going to double him up.
Oh, wow. Well, that's the way you do it. You get it in bad and then outrun them on the turn.
Now Trung here with a pair of 6s. Trung's going to make it 135 to go. Nick out. Will looks down at ace 5. He's going to rest. Stacy also going out. Craig not going to call, so Austin may be the only competitor here.
Austin in the big blind with the jack 3 of hearts has just enough to make this call.
And the flop is a jack 10-3. That's 2 pair there for Austin. Jacks and 3s.
Pretty good flop for Austin, but as I said earlier, you do need to be cautious on these monotone flops. Trung doesn't really have the best hand to bet here, but maybe he's hoping that one small stab will push Austin out in a pot where he really wants it to end right away. So 90,000 over to Austin holding 2 pair, and he will make the call.
Yeah, neither player with a club in their hand. Turn card's a queen. So 2 pairs going to check again.
If I'm Trung, I'm really just trying to get to showdown here. I'd rather bluff with a club in my hand or an ace so I could block some of the stronger holdings that Austin could have, but he is going to barrel here for 435,000, a big bet, Vince, and Austin not going anywhere with his 2 pair.
No.
Needs to be at least a little concerned that Trung has ace king.
River card, what will it be? It's a 4. Great card there for Austin.
I think if you're Trung and you got here, you want to empty the clip. I wouldn't fire the second without being willing to fire the third on a blank.
He's going to check it, and Austin, the financier, will take down this pot.
Maybe a little steam from Trung there. He took that rough beat against Stacy. He just lost with his pocket sevens. So maybe just forcing the action a little there.
There's the Austin rail supporting their man. He's a family man. He says any of the winnings he makes here at the final table are going to go to his kids' tuition to college. It's a good place to put it. Back on Nick Papello. Look at this pair of queens he wakes up with. Makes it 125. Blinds at this point are 25 and 50. Bunch of folds. Let's see if he gets action. Austin with an ace-10. But no.
Austin in the small blind there. A little bit of a tight fold, but I can see not getting involved. And Trung in the big blind with king-queen has the clear call, so heads up to this flop, and it is Jack-10 for 2 hearts. Big flop for both players here.
Wow, open-ended for Trung. Nick with the overpair. Puts in a bet of 120.
Surprised he didn't bet a little bit bigger. Certainly nothing wrong with this sizing, but Trung kind of short right now, and Nick might want to play for stacks. Ooh, but not on that card. That 9 of clubs is going to give Trung the nuts, and that's actually a decent-looking card for Nick, as it does give him an open-ender, and he, of course, is not that concerned about king-queen when he's holding 2 of the queens, so he might get in some trouble here. 300,000.
Turn the nuts. Guys betting into you after you checked. This is great.
All in.
And there's the all-in. Going for the punishment. It's an additional $1 million to potentially be saved, but now the action clock is ticking away. He's going to take a time chip out to give him an additional 30 seconds.
Tough spot for Nick. Your hand could be good against ace-jack or king-jack, and if you're behind, you're typically live. Here, he is up against the worst possible holding king-queen, and he does make this. Behind, you're typically live. Here, he is up against the worst possible holding king-queen, and he does make this call.
He is going to do it.
So Nick is drawing to 2 outs for a chop and sees the bad news. Trung holding the nuts straight.
7 of hearts on the river. Poor Nick with the queens. A huge win here for Trung. That is a double up in a big way.
I really like dude, but I'm just telling you. I mean, over, under on a marriage, not cool. Not cool.
Out of line.
Is that yours?
It will be.
It's not just the dollar. It's your ticket to $1 million tournament. Sign up for free today at WPTGlobal.com and use bonus code LS30.
Yeah, the blinds are up to 30 and 60 at this point. The 60,000 big blind ante. Back on him, he goes out. And here is Stacy.
Going up to 125 on the button with queen jack. Into the big blind of Austin Lewis, holding 8 deuce of diamonds. Is that enough hand to see a flop from Austin?
Now, Austin Lewis used to be in financing, a commodities trader, lives in Lantana, Texas. He's a family man, 38 years old, and he will splash around with his 8 deuce. Flop is a king 8-6, so Austin getting a piece of that with the 8s. Gonna check it.
Yeah, he has outflopped Stacy's queen jack here. I saw Stacy make a continuation bet on a similar board that was sized a bit too big for what was needed. Let's see if he cuts it down here. He does. Goes about 1/3 pot here. I like that play.
Austin says all of his winnings here tonight will go to his kids' tuition to college. And he's making this call, and the turn is a 10, giving Stacy an open-ended straight draw.
Pretty big card for Stacy. I've been wondering if he's the type to double barrel with a semi-bluff, and here he goes firing 175, so I like his play, but I think he needs to bet bigger to really make Austin fold any pair. You see the quick call there from the 8 deuce. Not convinced that Stacy is caught up yet, but on the 9 he certainly has. Stacy with the nuts now.
What's it gonna be, Stacy? Yeah, it looks like 260. Very tough call to make.
I would have liked Stacy to go really big here, just in case Austin had a 7 and couldn't get away. I think he might miss a little bit of value with this small bet size, but holding an 8, really, really tough for Austin to put in more money. He lets it go.
So Stacy Jones will take down that pot.
Austin has a 4 handicap on the course.
Yeah, he's a gambler, so that means he's a 1. But I'll tell you, he's an interesting guy. He says he doesn't play that much poker, loves the game, and he's hanging in there tonight.
Yeah, he thinks about poker well. He's playing some great cards tonight so far, but hanging on that middling stack. Hasn't been involved too much. Stacy here with Ace King will don his sunglasses and reach for raising chips.
Beautiful hand, makes it 125 to start. Craig goes out, and now Austin with a pair of jacks. That's what Austin's going to do. He's not going to play it slow. He makes it 375 to go.
And these guys are a little more than 40 blinds deep, so I think the money may go in pre-flop. Let's see how Stacy wants to play his ace-king.
He's getting out more chips. Stacy's going to move it up another additional 500,000 to 875. Back on Austin. This is just a setup hand.
I don't know that Austin can do much besides
all in.
Commit his chips, and there he goes.
Yep. And the insta call by Stacy. And we are flipping basically. Pretty darn close.
Austin with the small edge, and these guys are very close in chips, though Stacy does have slightly more than Austin, so he is the one at risk of elimination.
Yeah, you can think about it for like 2 seconds before you call. Make me feel a little bit better.
Yeah, I was ready to rock then.
It's about time.
This is how it's done. Finally, all the chips on the line here at the HyperX Esports Arena.
Good luck.
Let's see a flop. A flop of an ace, queen, 6. So Stacy out-flopping Austin right there. Hits his aces. Never get excited, though, till it's over. 2 more cards. And it's a 7 of clubs. Going to the river, another 6.
Stacy's aces are gonna hold on and knock out Austin in 6 points.
Yeah, Austin Lewis, a big effort, but out. 76,000 richer. Blinds are 30 and 60 at this point. He'll make it 145 total. Into Nick, who has a pair of 8s. And he will just call it. Our chip leader will squeeze out a Jack 9. He will release that, and our club owner, Stacy Jones, with a pretty solid ace-7 of hearts.
I call.
You will make this call. So 3-handed.
Stacy, it's like a flashback to the early seasons of the WPT final tables. Cowboy hat, sunglasses on, ready to go.
Look at this flop. 3 of a kind there for Trung. A 4 flush for Stacy. And 8s for Nick. Trung's gonna bet it.
Look at this flop.
150.
And I do not get this raise from Nick at all.
He is just putting these guys on nothing, and he's gonna try a steal here. 425. Power through it. Now Stacy with the big 4 flush.
Wow, and Stacy just going for the cold 3-bet with his ace-high flush draw. And often this would work out great, but not when Trung has middle set.
All in.
Nick gonna fold?
Stacy with the 4 flush. He might be pot committed.
Yeah, this is a math question now. Stacy with 9 outs to the nuts. Also wondering whether his ace is a clean out. We know that it is not.
And he's going to use one of his extensions.
Strong, I'm on a draw, brother. I'm about to be drawing at the nuts. Raise it for the flop, man.
You on a draw?
Nut flush.
That is a disciplined fold from Stacy Jones.
I should have called, probably. Got 2 cards to come. And an ace what comes over the top of him.
Was in the nut draw?
Yeah, it was.
Nut draw? Wow. You fold that?
Nut hearts, yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't quite getting the right price to make that call, but a lot of players, once they make a 3-bet and they have a draw to the nuts, get stuck in there, but Stacy shows some discipline, gets away from what would have been a very costly hand.
On to the next hand. Will this time with a 9-10. And he will make this fold. Stacy with a queen 10 of clubs. We'll make it 125 to go.
And Craig right behind him, 3-bets, pocket 4s. Now I can see Craig wanting to isolate Stacy in position.
I call.
Thinking that he has an advantage against a recreational player, but 4s really does not seem like the hand to make this play with. But this time around, Craig does 3-bet and he gets a very favorable flop on 7-5-3.
Yeah, Stacy's gonna check into him.
Craig follows through with a bet of 400,000, and Stacy eyeing his stack like he's gonna continue in this hand.
You got about 2.
I got 2.3 behind, so 2.3.
Behind.
But I don't know how. No pair, no draw, no nothing.
He's gonna lay that down. Yeah, Nick Papello, pair of 10s will go to 150. Will Berry, still our chip leader, says no. Stacy, bar club owner, goes out as well. Now Craig Varnell in the big blind, king 6. Yeah, he'll make the call. So king 6 versus the pair of 10s. Five-handed poker, and look at this flop. King 10-6. Nick with 3 of a kind, Craig with kings and sixes.
This is a disaster for Craig. Not only does he have top and bottom pair that only has 2 outs to the king, but this is a board where his opponent can have a lot that will put money in. So Craig makes the check raise up to 530,000. And he's hoping for action here, has no idea that he is drawing so thin.
Nick just gonna call this right now. What a place he is in. And the turn card is an irrelevant 3 of diamonds.
Oh.
Insta call, of course. And they flip him up. Wow.
Well, you see that Craig does cover Nick by a couple 100,000 there. So if you were to catch a miracle king, he'd eliminate Nick. Otherwise, Craig will have about 200,000 left.
Oh, a queen, oh so close, and so Nick is gonna count it down and take the lion's share of Craig's stack away from him as his set holds up against 2 pair.
Well, Tony, Craig came in as the second chip leader. He had all those chips, just no momentum for him, and this is a disaster. He'll be on an extreme low stack. And the Craig Varnell group just devastated there in the audience. Nick Papillo, huge double up for him. Wow.
And that will leave Craig with just 200,000 in chips. That's about 3.5 big blinds.
Okay, Nick folds. Will as well.
So I expect we will lose Craig any minute here unless he can miraculously run up his stack. He's all in with Jack 9 here. Trung will make the call with Ace 8. So he'll need to win this all in just to get back to 8 blinds.
Yep. Good sport, though. He's taking it well. Maybe he can come back. Oh, look at this nice flop for him. He's out in front. Queen Jack 5 on the flop.
Craig takes a strong lead in this. Craig takes a strong lead in this hand. Trung now drawing to an ace or running straight.
Here we go. It's a simple 7. Craig looking good to double up. He needs it desperately. Okay, and here comes the river. It's a deuce of clubs. So he will double up.
If Craig is going to attempt a chip in the chair or 3 chips in a chair run up, here's how he starts.
Craig plays with heart and guts.
All in.
And this time he's going to shove all in again with King 9 of clubs.
Well, I wasn't crazy about the King 6 shove, but I love this King 9 suited shove.
No action so far. Around to the club owner, Stacy, with the pair of deuces.
630.
I'll call. Close one for Stacy, but he's getting a nice price with that dead money in there. So I like the call with his pair. He is going to be a small favorite against Craig, who again was down to just 3 blinds, and there is 23 blinds in this pot. So should he find
shoot low, Sheriff,
a King 9 or flush against Stacy, he's very much back in the mix.
Can't we just run it?
Exactly.
Well, who will get lucky? King 9 versus a pair of deuces. Here is the flop. It is a King Jack 4, so Craig hitting kings.
A stoic non-reaction from Craig. You can tell he's been here before. He knows that it's a 5-card game. We'll wait to see if there's no deuces on the turn of river.
Here's 4th Street, another king. So 3 of a kind here for Craig.
They're excited.
They're excited about King. Same difference.
It's the same thing. Yeah.
Same thing.
It's like the audience, they don't realize that changes nothing.
One more card to sweat. It's going to work out as a 5 hits the board. Craig Varnell doubling up. He's on the comeback trail. And the Varnell rail. Getting excited again. We're coming back. Stay with us here on the World Poker Tour. But here, Trung with a pair of ladies in first position. Makes it 150 to go. Nick with ace-10 of hearts. He's going to raise to 450.
I have mixed feelings about this 3-bet, Vince. Obviously, ace-10 suited is a strong hand, but unless you know for sure you want to get the money in pre-flop,
I'm glad I could help you out.
Tends to play better as a call, so you make sure to get post-flop with the hand.
This is the pot. I need it right here. I need the big one right here. All right, I'm all in.
Wow. Craig said he wanted the big hand. He got the big hand.
All in.
And then over the top goes Trung with the queens.
Did you have any of that, Nick?
Do you really want to know the answer?
Craig Varnell, ace-king up against the ladies.
Be one hell of a spin if I win this one, huh?
Yeah.
Craig's run his money up to about 1.3 million, so here's the flop. It's a jack 4-3. Not good for Craig.
How about deuce of spades? That'll be a fair fight. Or 5 spades.
So Trung's ladies looking good to knock out Craig Varnell.
Trung wants to see a spade.
See if Craig can come back into this.
Oh, but not that spade.
Yeah. He gets the ace, but there's 3 spades out there as well.
That's right. This hand is not over. Trung's still about 25% to take this down.
All right, going to the last card. Here comes the river.
Jack on the river.
You guys are all in big trouble now.
Now, what an emotional ride Craig is having over the last couple of orbits. He was among our chip leaders coming in, all the way down to 3 blinds, and you see there now 3rd in chips.
It's 1.4 right here. Oh, no, that's $1 million.
Things turn around quickly.
And our blinds are up, Vince. We are playing 40,000, 80,000 with an 80,000 big blind ante. Action starts with Will Berry holding King 10.
Well, this time he's going to raise it with his King 10.
Craig feeling tempted with his Jack 8 suited on the button. But not tempted enough. He lets it go. Trung right behind him finds pocket 8s. And makes this call. And now Nick in the big blind has ace 3 suited. He'll come along, so 3 ways to this flop. Everyone holding diamonds, Nick holding 2.
And the flop is a 10-7, 4-3 hearts, but 10's there for Will Berry.
Now this is a board that everyone will play cautiously. I like that check from Will very much. A 4 on the turn makes Trung confident enough that he bets. Can't say I am a fan of this bet without a heart into multiple players. But Trung just trying to take down this pot, fires out 275. And Will, still with top pair, will make the call holding King 10.
Will in front here, obviously with 10s. And a 7 on the river here.
Oh, Trung. Trung, you got one of the worst hands to bet. Don't do it. I don't get this one bit, Vince. And of course, Will makes this call, and so Trung spends a little more money than necessary there to get to showdown.
So 5 players remain. Will Berry with close to 9 million.
Will, easy to fly under the radar with his subdued personality, but he's playing great poker at this final table tonight. He really seems like the man to beat outside of just having the most chips.
Chip leader defense. Really nicely done, but Stacy this time with the queens. He's got the real hand, puts the goggles back on. Blinds 40 and 80, and he's going to make it 175 total. Let's see if he gets anyone to contribute. Nick here with ace 8 of hearts. Yes, he will make this call.
Nice hand to find in the big blind. Up against the cowboy, and an even better flop to find. Whoa, Nick flops the nuts.
Flop on the nuts when Stacy had queens. Lucky for Stacy, a king appears as well. So he's going to slow down and check this. This could get very expensive. 9 of diamonds on the turn. All right, Nick checks.
225.
Uh-oh.
I'm okay with this turn bet from Stacy. I think he's just trying to get the showdown here. Nick, as you can see there, an absolute lock to win this pot. It's really about how much can he win from Stacy.
Nick, of course, with the nuts at this point, coming over the top, an additional 500.
Time for Stacy to ride off into the sunset. Get out of this one.
Oh, boy.
Oh, no.
Didn't even think about it. He's making this call, and it's a bad one.
He's drawing dead, Vince.
Absolutely. Another heart, but it's
oh,
a queen.
No. You know, that river makes Stacy's hand even worse, but because he improves to a set, a lot of players get married to their hand.
900,000 bet.
I want to see it.
Don't do it.
Oh, boy.
Oh, nuts.
Called off his money here.
Could have gotten out of that one on the turn, but Stacy got sticky, and Nick Papillo takes down a big one.
WPT Global. Huh? $1 for $1 million? No chance. Why would we do that? I keep getting these phone calls. You know, $1 for $1 million. What's that all about?
$1? Come on, no chance.
Hey guys, just want to make sure you got the memo. $1 for $1 million event. We want to push that.
Okay, boss, we're all over it.
Been doing it all day.
Sign up for free today at WPTglobal.com and use bonus code LS30 to play the $1 for $1 million tournament.
Zynga Poker leaderboard, Will Barry edging up on 9 million, Nick Papillo over 7 now. Craig Varnell of the Roller Coaster Stack approaching 4 million after being down to 3 blinds. Trung in 4th, and Stacy Jones, our short stack.
Yeah, the blinds are 40 and 80 with the big blind Andy of 80. Craig Varnell out of the gates, gonna make it 200 with a king 3. Nick Papillo has called with a pair of 5s. Now Stacy Jones, the club owner, with a queen 6 of clubs, is considering this, but nope, he's gonna fold it. So Nick and Craig going after